What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Cooking with Adrianne Latrice. So today we in the kitchen cooking up some Alaskan salmon. I'm going to be making some salmon today. It is so simple and easy to make. As you can see, I have very minimum ingredients. So here's our salmon. I'll be making 3 pieces today. I have some very delicious garlic and herb butter, some regular good old classic original butter, and some seafood seasoning. And honestly, you could use any kind of seasoning, including lemon pepper, salt and pepper. But in my family, we really like a little seafood seasoning. So this is literally it. This is all I use to make that salmon. Let's get to cooking. Okay, so what I've done so far is put some garlic butter and regular butter inside the pan and go ahead and let it melt just a little bit. You could turn the fire on medium heat. Now I'm going to go ahead and take one of my pieces of salmon and lay it there in the pan. The next thing you want to do, you want to sprinkle your seafood seasoning on one side first. Then let the other side simmer for maybe 1 minute. Flip it over, add more seafood seasoning. Okay, after about a minute or 2, this is what the other side of that salmon looks like. Now I'm going to go ahead and add seafood seasoning to this side as well. And you're just sprinkling a moderate amount. You don't want to overdo it because it does have a little spice to it. So you just sprinkle a little bit more on that side and let the other side simmer. And what I normally do is flip it back and forth, cook it like 5 minutes on each side. You keep flipping it. And then later in the video, I'll tell you guys how you could tell when the salmon is done. Okay, after about 3 to 5 minutes on each side and making sure you added that seasoning. Now what I like to do is add a little bit more butter so I can have a nice consistency with the juice. So I can have a nice consistency with how much butter I have, because now at this stage, I'm going to actually use all of this good butter and juice to baste my salmon. I really like doing this because it makes your salmon nice and juicy, and it helps all of your flavors flow together. So I'm going to use this butter to help all the flavors flow together and make everything taste delicious, keep all the juices together. So I'm going to use this butter to baste the salmon. And what I do, I let it cook on each side for like a few minutes at a time. Then I just keep flipping back and forth, adding more butter as needed. And how do you know you need more butter is when you see it getting kind of dry. Like when your juices are running out, then you can add more butter to make sure it stays nice and soupy. And you can use all of this good juice to put over your salmon to keep all those flavors intact. So I'm going to literally let it cook again on each side for a few minutes. Keep flipping it back and forth, adding more butter as needed, and making sure that I baste the salmon with all of the good butter and juices. Okay, I'm going to check back in with you guys in a few more minutes to see what this salmon is looking like. So now, after a total of about 10 minutes, cooking it back and forth on each side, as you can see, it's getting nice and brown on the back of the salmon. I still have a lot of good butter and juice there that I'm going to use to continue to baste it. This is going to help maintain that moisture inside of your salmon, because last thing you want is some dry salmon. You know, salmon is already naturally kind of thick and dry in the inside. So that's the purpose of adding all this good butter, to keep that nice juicy consistency. Okay, so what I want to do now at this stage, I want to cut the salmon open. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to cut it for the purpose of the video, just to show you guys what it should look like in the inside. So I cut it open, I'm going to look at the meat. Okay, as you can see there's 2 different colorations of the meat. You have a nice white meat at the top, and then you still have a little bit of pink there at the bottom. So this is how you can tell whether that salmon is ready or done or not. With that pink at the bottom, that means you need a little bit more cook time on this side of the salmon. With that nice white consistency at the top, that lets you know this side is nice and ready and done. Salmon does not usually take more than like 10 or 15 minutes to cook. As you can see there, there's a little pink at the bottom. I have a little piece there on my fork. That lets me know that the bottom of that salmon needs a little bit more cook time. So I'm just going to cook it maybe 3 to 5 more minutes. And don't forget to continue to baste your salmon throughout the steps to make sure everything is nice and juicy. Alright you guys, so here's the finishing product. And again, I cut this one in half just to show you how to tell when the salmon is cooked and done. So it took no longer than 15 minutes. If you can see here, it's nice and white in the middle. So it's nice and done and ready to enjoy. Very quick, very simple and delicious. Thank you guys again for watching my videos. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share. I appreciate you hanging out with me and cooking with Adrianne and Latrice. If you have any special meals you want me to try, just drop it below in the comments and I'll give it a go. Thank you for cooking with Adrianne and Latrice. Peace.